What's going on, everybody? I'm Aaron with Xtreme Xperience. In just 5 days, we are back on track for the first time in 2021. And as you can see, there's a lot going on to get us ready for that. Our trailers get loaded tomorrow, but before that, all of our cars need to be ready. So today, I'm gonna walk up, we're gonna talk to some of our technicians to see all that they're doing to prep every single one of our over 30 supercars. So, we're talking to people about what's going on to get all of our cars ready for the track. It seems like you just have some stickers. It'd be great to know what's going on with that though.
Yeah, so we just got a whole bunch of new cars. So I'm actually applying our tire sponsor logos, Goodyear, to our brand new Chargers. Just picked up this Nissan GT-R with Goodyear rubber on it. I just finished up 2 Ferraris, the GT3, a McLaren. So yeah, just one of those little things just gotta get done. Fresh Goodyear rubber on the car, so it is getting its stamp of approval. Goodyear, here we go.
Everybody's chipping in?
Everybody's super busy right now.
All right, we're gonna talk to Ed. Hey, Ed. Is this the same green Charger that you had 3 months ago at CMS? It's not.
Think of a rock truck, but all the rocks are on the road.
Yeah.
It's not. It is different. It's still a brand new Charger, still a 2020 Charger, but it's a little different. We're gonna swap out the brake pads. We're gonna put it on Goodyears as well. Gonna get some good fresh Goodyear tires on it. Swap out the brake fluid. I think we're actually using something different for these because they create so much heat. I do believe we're actually using a special brake fluid for these that's specifically meant for the extreme high heat applicants.
So it's that it has a higher like boil point,
Yeah.
don't fade as much.
Yeah, because I know there's been times to where in the past, you know, they have, you know, concerns about it. So we're gonna up the brake fluid on this one so that way it can handle better on track. Because I mean, there's a lot of car that has to stop here.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of power.
Plus, you think about the fact that 3 people plus a pro driver is going to be in this at once.
Absolutely.
You're adding an extra, I mean, we don't want to talk about any weight too much, but we're going to be adding an extra, like, say, 200 pounds per person. That's a lot of weight that you're throwing around track, outrunning Ferraris.
Yep. And it will outrun the Ferraris. Every instructor that gets behind the wheel, they'll stay in this car. One, it's super comfy. If you saw the video of us driving it, we were upset that we had to get out of the car because it was so comfortable.
Yeah.
It's got the power. Every track it's been on, it's been able to keep ahead and keep pace with any Ferrari, Lamborghini, everything. So even the ride-alongs in this thing are going to be a blast.
One more question. You just a second ago, I saw you drive this on here. It's brand new to us.
Yeah.
Literally, like, today or Friday it showed up. What else, anything else that you have to do to, like, once over you're just looking at everything?
Every car we get in, we do a once over so that way, you know, we know what's going on with the car, and also if there's anything wrong with the car, we're aware of it.
Right.
But I mean, this car has 2,000 miles on it.
Solid.
Should be spick and span brand new, but you just never know.
Yeah,
you know?
you just
So
always
that's-
want to check it out.
Yeah, because we want to make sure this thing is track ready, and if there's something wrong, we need to address it so that way when it goes on the track, it's not a problem. And we go all the way from, you know, visual aesthetics, you know, Juan does his visual details on the exterior. We go all the way from, you know, checking to make sure suspension's good, brakes are good, drivetrain's good, engine's good. We scan it, even though it has no miles, we still scan it. Oil, brake fluid,
all the fluids, right? We just check all the fluids.
Yep, power steering if it has manual power steering, if not electric power steering, we do scan it. Because even the smallest things on a normal drive when you're on the street make a huge deal on the track because you're amplifying, you know, the braking, the engine power, the amount of stress you put on the car. So we want to make sure that every time this car goes out on track, it's tip-top shape.
We're putting this in there. Some nice Castrol React SR Up racing brake fluid.
So Ed told us that we obviously don't use just the normal brake fluid it comes with because we're pushing these cars so much harder.
Yeah, we get these brakes very hot. We also are swapping it out for our aftermarket brake pads that are much better with heat as well.
Nice,
So
because then we can just go over and over. If you've ever been on, like, you know, these cars or the lead cars come in so hot on track, and they're just constantly going.
I've seen smoke coming out of just the rotors from it just pulling in. We put fans on them, underneath them, on the side, everything we can to cool them off.
Beforehand, the more that we can do right now.
The less we have to do there, and the better it'll just run in general.
So how long does it take? How hard is it to do this flush?
Super easy. Well, we start with a flush, so we just pressurize the system and we run all the brake fluid out.
Right. So that's why.
Go to each corner.
You gotta get his like partner in crime here who's doing all the hard work
Is he
up right now. This is the like.
Just sitting here.
It's
It's comfy. I can't help it. It's comfortable.
Ed's not doing anything right now,
I
actually.
am
He's
doing
like,
a lot. All right.
I'm working so hard.
I am.
We'll let you get back to the brakes.
My
Anything
Amazon
else with
package
him?
is on its way.
Pump.
Holding.
Hold it there.
Okay. When we do brake pads, what happens is we end up spreading the caliper pistons. So when you go to pump the brakes for the first time, there's a lot of sponginess, a lot of pedal feel because those caliper pistons are still all the way inside the caliper. So that's why when at first I was like, oh, what's going on? But we just got to pump the calipers up and yeah.
Does that happen every time, every corner?
It happens every, no, not every corner, just whenever somebody does like a brake job, brake pads or rotors, when the calipers get fully depressed with the pistons, it creates that void or that extra space that needs to fill. And you know, you just pump it up a little bit to fill that space and void up, and then it's usually stiff.
Nice. You guys are doing this how often?
Brake bleeds every 800 miles.
So every how many events or so?
That's
Brake bleeds are every 500 miles. Brake flush is every 5,000 miles.
Wait,
Depends on.
I thought it was 800, 4,000.
Nope.
They changed it?
Yep. It kind of depends on the track. And
so what does that
everything.
equate to? More or less every couple of events?
Yeah.
For retrospect, a normal commuter car is like once every 3 years, right?
Yeah, it's a lot longer than what we do. I mean, on average, you gotta think, we do, if you want to do a time frame, once a month. Once a month is a time frame to where your average car is once every 3 years, depending on manufacturer specs. But we do it frequently because we got to make sure that we have that fresh brake fluid. It doesn't get too overheated, and there's no moisture in the system because, you know, it kind of goes back. One small thing on the street cascades into a larger thing on the track, so everything has to be tip-top shape in perfect order.
All right, Cameron. Newest car in here, right? It showed up Friday, Monday,
Basically,
today. What do you have to do to it? What's going on with all this?
We're gonna make sure that this thing's all up to date on pretty much most of its maintenance. So kind of like what they're doing, brake flush, brake bleed, kind of like our most important
You're
things.
not around the brakes though, so
Yeah. So
obviously something else is happening.
we've done that.
Yeah.
We're already past them.
Okay.
We're now on to our oil change. So we just want to make sure we have fresh oil in it, make sure everything's good.
How was
and we're
the
not
oil
exact-
that's in it?
The oil that was in it was pretty dark coming out, so this is probably a good thing for us to do. Brings me back to my glory days when I was working at Infinity in Nissan. So. No, yeah. I mean, the oil changes on these GTRs are very serviceable, in my opinion. Like, everything's kind of there. You got air filters. Doing an oil change takes like a few minutes. It's a very simple thing to work on, which is nice. So,
Are any of them doing an oil change at super big pain?
yeah, the McLarens, the Ferraris, the Lamborghinis have like 8 drain plugs.
Yeah.
Those ones are all kind of crazy. The Porsches have drain plugs up in the turbos and the wheel wells. So those are crazy stuff. This just normally got 1 drain plug, filters right next to it, and you just
So this
kind
is
of
like
keep
the
going.
most normal
Oh,
of
yeah.
them, right? Like,
This is
it
very
doesn't look
much-
any different than like my car. If I pulled my car up, it'd be something.
Oh yeah, I mean you could do basic service and stuff. I mean there's certain things that you just want to be more careful of, and really that's kind of like when Nissan's done with these. They're just kind of like, you could think of them almost as like a twin turbo Q50, just like everything taken up to 11, just like everything dialed in just way more. So, and then a bunch of their electronics and stuff to make this thing super quick. So yeah, they're very not too hard to work on until you
now
start
it's-
getting into some.
Now it's just new oil in, and you're pretty much done. And
Yeah,
this car's
basically.
ready for the track.
No, yeah, this thing's just about ready. We're almost done with it. We'll be done with it here in the next hour or so.
work, dude. Sweet.
So we've talked fluid, we've talked brakes. One of the other things that has to happen before we get on track is we have to have the right rubber on there, because that makes a huge difference with the way that these cars perform on track, from heat to wear, all that stuff. So we're gonna talk to Nick, who is doing some of the tires for the AMG, one of the new additions to our fleet in 2021.
We're just preparing for New Orleans right now. We're just making sure that all of our cars in our fleet are coming to the track with fresh rubber. Typically the wear is track dependent, so sometimes we could stretch a few more events depending where we're going with the cars. But typically it's every like 3 to 4, I would say, is a good baseline ballpark number.
We always have an extra set for every single car. We have an extra full set at every event.
Yeah. Every event we bring multiple sets per car. That way if anything happens, tires get worn, we could do any swap that we need to right there on the spot.
And it's wheels and tires, right?
Yeah, we bring all of our wheels mounted and balanced, so when we're at the track, it's just a quick wheel swap. You don't have to worry about having to go mount and balance anything. Like I said, it's very track dependent, so therefore it's hard to kind of judge that, but
obviously going to New Orleans, we probably won't run into having to change tires, right? Just because they're all fresh, essentially, so.
Well, we're definitely going to be changing tires at some point during the event and the weekend, but the idea is just to give us as much time before that happens.
So that's what's happening behind us, I assume, is extra sets. These aren't on cars, so.
Yeah, we're we're loading up the equipment trailer with all of our spares, everything that we'll need for the weekend to get us through.
Event checklist, make sure we have all the tools and all the fluids, everything we need to be able to get through an event.
So in addition to all the cars need to be ready to go to the event, we need to make sure that we have everything to work on the cars going to the event, which is, I imagine, different for every single car.
Yeah.
So what's this?
This is all different types of lug nuts. So if we go to change tires, because we'll have access to other lug nuts, because certain rims take certain different type of lug nuts. So when you go to swap those, you gotta make sure you have the right lugs to go with those tires.
Yeah, because some of them are lug bolts. Well, majority of them are lug bolts.
They're all lug bolts,
Like
but
all
you have two different styles, which both of these are both for Lambo.
gotcha.
Two different rims.
So this whole box goes to every single event, right? And it just is always.
It just stays in the truck.
So
in the trailer.
if cars are organized, what all tool-wise comes? Anything we wouldn't expect that comes to every single event?
I mean, it's more of, in between events, it's just more of reloading your fluids, your brake fluid, your oil, your brake cleaner, all your main consumables is just trying to replenish those, make sure you're good to go for the next stint.
So
then,
do they give you one of these every
event we have one.
So it's just quantity of what's on there exactly?
You have different tools you would need and how many of them are supposed to be in here. The different oils and how many, antifreeze, all the different external tools we would need for cars, like the brake pad spreader, car covers, lockout kits, which go onto a separate cart that don't go into here. All the brake pads we need, stuff like that. Make sure we have all the hardware, which is what I'm currently doing now.
Are these completely duplicated? Because I imagine one's for one tour and one's for the other tour, right? So these are basically identical.
They are supposed to be.
They're supposed to be identical?
Yes.
All right, we're gonna walk over to our detailing bay. We have a whole corner of our garage carved out for making sure that our cars look as absolute best as they can. And to make that happen, we're gonna talk to Juan, who probably, if you've been to Xtreme Xperience and been to one of our events before, you already know this guy, but he cleans and makes sure all of our cars look spotless, and there's a couple of other things, so let's talk to him right now. Juan, what are you prepping?
Prepping all the cars for the first event of the season. We already detailed all the cars. We branded the new ones. This is the last one to brand.
Yeah.
We put the branding, the number of the car to identify the cars on the track. At this point we have two green ones. We have green one number 02, this is 04. Website and everything.
Yeah.
We make sure that everything inside is clean. We replace the plastics for people to step on so we don't damage the carpets. Everything is wiped down and disinfected, as well as the back for customers to ride in the back seat. Anyone can go for a ride in this car.
Okay. Here's the thing that Juan's not telling you is he's also a master of moving these cars in the tightest space as possible. Every time I come back here, he's like carefully doing what he's doing right now. We have all these poles. We just got these wrapped this year. But all these poles going around and they're moving all these cars in super tight corners.
Good. Back. Straight back. You gonna ask me?
Yeah, I was gonna ask you what it takes to do one car. Because you've obviously done every single one of these cars, but this is the last one.
Yes.
What does it take to do just one of these cars?
Time-wise?
Time-wise, and what is the process?
Approximately, this is spray wax. This is only to touch up the outside of the paint. A full car wash and detail per person, it takes 45 minutes an hour and a half to 2 hours. When it's 2 guys, it takes us 45 to 1 hour.
Yeah.
What we do is rinse, put a bug remover, degrease it for the wheels, scrub everything in the outside, and then wash, rinse.
Yeah.
Once it's done, we're gonna dry. Once it's dry, we're gonna clean the door jambs, and then we're gonna air dry it for the creases. Sometimes water stays in there, so we're gonna air dry it. Once it's done, we're gonna move it to this area for the vacuum and branding and the inside wipe down, and then make sure that the tires shine. Let's make it shine. We go to the next one. Single car has a license plate. It's got a number to identify the car. It's got our website, our branding, and then in the front we have a windshield eyebrow. Show the branding too.
If you want to see a detailing series, like a mini series of all that goes into detailing with Juan's pro tips and everything, comment below, let us know, hit like on this video, and we will we'll make it happen. You know, we'll get Juan a special outfit for it. It's like Juan's special
I got my Xtreme shirt.
That's true. Maybe we need to make Juan detailing Xtreme gear.
Yeah. I can be the auto therapist.
That would be like Xtreme auto therapist.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. I'll be happy.
A sub brand within Xtreme.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Detailing.
Yeah.
I like it.
All right. Thank you. Come again.
Nice.
Thanks, Juan.
Adios.
Thanks, Juan. So as you can see, everyone is incredibly busy today and this week. This is the last time all these cars will be in here, probably until the middle of the summer. So everything's getting ready. As you can see, we are prepping brakes, tires, fluids, everything in between to make sure that we're ready on track. So we're excited. 5 days left, and then we're back on track in New Orleans, and we're into Texas. We cannot wait to see you there. See you on track. So that's why.
Go to each corner, and then after that
we'll talk to Wilson in a second.